One of the Heal Squad members asked me to do a video on knowing if a man is your rebound. Now, I'm going to say this, okay? Relationships can happen. There could be, you can have a breakup or you can meet the love of your life. I've seen that happen, okay? But I really want to talk about, especially if you feel like you're moving too soon, how to know this man is a rebound before you blow the whole situation up. If you're new here, welcome to Heal the New Sexy, where we discuss all things healing, self-love, and relationships. My name is Samantha. I am a licensed therapist and coach. I want to talk about how to know that man is your rebound. Okay, now at first when I saw this, I said, oh, the Heal Squad in the streets? The Heal, what? Oh. Next, okay, never mind, I'm not gonna say that. But Gucci Man said, miss one bus, next 15 coming. Is that what he said? So listen, all right? A lot of women don't realize that they're in a rebound until it all crashes down. And so I want to give you a couple of signs that this may be a rebound and not a healthy relationship, all right? Listen, number one, you like how he makes you feel, but you don't like who he is. There may not be a level of attraction there. You might even feel annoyed by him. Okay. Ask yourself this honestly. Do you miss him, or do you miss how calm you feel when he is around? Rebound relationships are often like emotional painkillers. He's your human teddy bear. So you're using him, like the old saying, in order to get over one man, you get under another. You're really using him emotionally. And this is not a man who you see yourself being with long term. Okay. He's not exciting because he's aligned. He's exciting because your nervous system is finally getting a break. So you don't have to deal with the pain of the breakup because you have someone else there. And they're helping. You're using them, right, as a pacifier. You're using them in order to help you regulate. This is how you know he's a rebound. You don't miss him. You're not reaching out to him in order because you care about him or because you love him. You're reaching out to him anytime you're triggered. Anytime you maybe think about your ex or something causes your internal alarm system to go off, then you reach out to him. You're only using him. All right? Listen. If you haven't taken time to sit in your grief, your anger, your disappointment, any man who feels easy will feel like the one. But peace comes from avoidance. But peace that comes from avoidance is not the same as peace that comes from healing. Okay. And I've worked with many women who you meet a great guy and we're going to say it's the wrong time, right? And it's really hard to let him go because you know he's a great guy, but you have to let him go because he's not your guy. And you're not emotionally available. And guess what? Don't do to him what men have done to you. Be honest and respectful and kind enough and loving enough to let him go. That's true love. When you let someone go because you know you don't have what they need. Okay? Number two, you're using him to prove you're over your ex. Be honest. If part of you enjoys the idea that your ex would be jealous, your ex would feel replaced, your ex would see that you upgraded, then you're not dating forward, you're dating backwards, and you're really dating in order to get a response from your ex. Don't use this man like that. Don't use this man to get a rise out of your ex. Don't do that. Don't do that. I've seen on Cheaters back in the day, she'd be like, you didn't pay me no attention. So you went and you got another man to get that man's attention. And if you're using this man as a rebound, what you're doing is you're using him to get that man's attention. Don't do that. You put your life at risk and his life at risk. Don't do that. Don't hurt him, right? A rebound is often a silent performance. Look how happy I am now. Look how fast I move on. Look how chosen I am. Healing doesn't need an audience. If you're really doing the healing work, you don't need no audience. Matter of fact, if y'all are really in a relationship, you don't even have to post him. You don't have to post him online. You ain't got to do all the TikToks. You don't have to do that. If this is a true relationship, you don't have to post him. Your ex don't even have to know what motion you got going on. Okay? Sign number three, you skip the alone phase. If you went from one relationship to a talking stage to a situationship to a new man without a season of intentional singleness, that's a red flag. Now, a season of intentional singleness can be 30 days, not 30 days. I would say 90 days at the minimum. Okay? And the reason why I say that is because you do need space to be able to see the previous relationship that you were in to determine whether it was healthy or not. all those things. You shouldn't be jumping in from one relationship to another. You shouldn't do that. And it should be this relationship now on a talking stage. You need some time to yourself to recalibrate, to really understand what it is that you need and want in a relationship before moving on to another. Okay? You can't even take inventory on what went well or what didn't if you're moving from one person to another. Okay? The alone phase is where you detox from emotional dependency. That's where you address those attachment issues that you may have had, or not address the attachment issue, but that's where you heal that attachment, right? Because when you break up, there's an attachment that's being broken. That's why breakups they just make you sick. Your heart, you know what I'm saying? You're crying, you're snotting, your heart is hurting. You don't want to go to work. You don't want to talk to anybody. You want to lay in bed. But there's a part where the attachment is broken. You do the healing work, okay? And then you're able to move on. If you're just going from one man to another, you don't even get a chance to heal the attachment part, all right? And you need to pay attention to that. The alone phase is where you recalibrate your standards, rebuild self-trust, right? That's where you learn, let's say, for instance, you dated a man. I saw this on TikTok, and he was like, when you date a man and you realize he's a faker, move on. Don't blame yourself. That man was faking. He was lying. He was showing up, saying that he was something that he wasn't. Okay, accept it and move on. And for many of us, we need to do the same thing. When a man shows up as a faker, you need to move on. But you can't, but also you take inventory if there were things that you believe, but you have evidence that they weren't true. So now you got to work to rebuild your self-trust. You got to work to trust your intuition, because even if he was a faker, there may have been things that you said, listen, this not adding up. This don't make sense. And he talked you out of it. So then you say, listen, when I see that something doesn't make sense, I'm just going to move on. I'm not even going to really say anything to him because I don't want him to talk me out of what I feel. Okay? And it doesn't give you a chance, right? If you just move on from one relationship to another, to grieve what you lost and what you tolerated. Sometimes you have to grieve the past, the present, and even the future that you were going to build with that person. But you can't grieve it if you move into another man and then he making you more promises, okay? If you skip that phase, you don't choose your next partner. You reach for them. And then also, if you skip this phase of being alone, you may set yourself up to be in another cycle. You're trying to figure out why you're dating the same man with a different face. And that's because you didn't do your healing work to recalibrate yourself. So when you go into the next relationship, you could go into it confidently knowing I am choosing a different man than what I've experienced before. Okay. Number 4, you're ignoring mismatches because he's better than the last one. I remember my therapist saying, this man is better than what you dated before, but he's not the best. And you don't realize the two of you aren't compatible long term. But since he was better than your last relationship, you stay there. This is a big one. Just because he communicates more, doesn't yell, text back, isn't toxic, doesn't mean he's compatible. A rebound often looks like better than my ex, not aligned with my values. Bare minimum improvement can feel like a miracle when you fresh out of chaos. You were dating that man who was emotionally unavailable. He was emotionally avoidant. Now you're dating this man and he's emotionally available. Of course he is, because men show up differently in the beginning. That's his representative. Let it keep going a little bit longer. You're about to see some. Either you're going to see that he's consistent and that's who he is, or you're going to see that mask fall and you're going to see somebody else. So you're like, see, my ex, well, he wasn't texting me back. He wasn't doing this. He wouldn't do this, but he does this, he does this, he does it. Yeah, it's the beginning of a relationship. It's the beginning. And so you are comparing 2 different stages, 2 different phases of a relationship. Okay? Let me tell you, healing requires discernment, not comparison. And quite often what happens is, many of us, if you move from one relationship to another, you haven't done your healing work. So you keep comparing back to the relationship and you keep staying in an unhealthy relationship. If you're not compatible, if you guys don't want the same things, then the relationship is not going to work. You want to get married, he doesn't. He's been married before, he don't want to do that. You want to have children, he doesn't. You believe in God, he doesn't. But because he shows up and I'm not saying he's not a good man. I'm not saying he doesn't treat you well. But I'm saying you're comparing him and not looking at and paying attention to. Your lives will not go like this. Okay? Sign number 5, the attachment is moving faster than the reality. If you're Emotionally bonded very quickly, imagining a future before knowing his character, feeling anxious about losing him early on. That's not chemistry. That's unresolved attachment wounds. And you know it's anxious attachment, girlies. You can't be doing this. You can't be doing this. You're moving quickly in order to soothe yourself. It's not the man for you. It's not the man for you, right? Your heart is trying to secure safety, not build intimacy. Real intimacy develops with time, observation, and consistency and safety. Does that man make you feel safe? Is he emotionally safe? Physically safe? Mentally safe? Spiritually safe? Financially safe? Is he safe? That's what Cardi B said, make me feel safe. Is he? Is he? No, you're in this relationship because you don't want to feel the pain of the past relationship. You're doing this in order to regulate yourself, and you're regulating yourself through another human being, and we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that, okay? Listen, rebounds rush because pain is impatient. So you're in this relationship because you just what she said? What was her name? Dang, I see her face. Holly Berry. She said, I want you to make me feel good. So you in this relationship with the man because you want him to make you feel good. Not that you're healed, but you just ready to feel better. And so he's available. This ain't even gotta be. I mean, it don't even have to be a full-blown relationship. It could just be a situationship or a friends with benefit type situation. You keep letting that man come over to soothe you. I just want you to make me feel good, like Holly Berry said. All right. So let's check ourselves before it's too late. Now, I want you to use these questions. I want you to use these 3 questions and ask yourself these 3 questions. If I had fully healed, would I still choose him? Is this a man that if I was healed, I wasn't vulnerable, would I still choose him? Am I emotionally available or emotionally numb and I'm using him so I can feel something? Sometimes we got to be honest. It's like, Cynthia, it's been so long that a man found me desirable, and I just don't want to let this feeling go. It's been so long that a man loved me, and or I felt like a man craved me, and the way he makes me feel when he looks at me. Would I feel whole without this connection? Do I ruminate when I don't hear from him? Am I spiraling when I don't hear from him? But when he's around me, I get peace. 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 If the relationship feels like it's holding you together instead of adding to your already full life, you need to pause. You need to take a moment. You need to realize that this is not a healthy relationship. Right? A rebound isn't failure. It's information. And I know you guys are beautiful women. I know y'all got lines of men wanting to date you. I get it. But you got to tell them, oh, baby doll, wait till I heal. I remember y'all announcing on my Facebook how I had cancer. Shoot. My thing fell. And a man from my past sent me a DM, long story short. And basically was like, I want to be with you. And I'm thinking, I'm going through chemotherapy. I was dating somebody else at the time too, child. Listen, cancer don't stop nothing, okay? Listen, so, and I'm thinking, like, how you want to date me and I'm going through this, right? And then, but really what it was about was, years ago, he didn't have the opportunity to really date me. So I guess he felt like this was his opportunity, right? And I also remember another man calling me like, Cynthia, why didn't you tell me you had cancer? I could have been there for you. And I'm thinking, what you trying to get close? What you trying to get close to me now? Like, what is going on? Okay. But often it's about comfort. It's about comfort, and you vulnerable. and they see you're vulnerable and they want to take advantage of that. If you can't get me while I'm healed and healthy, all right. So rebound is about comfort. It's about safety. It's about you saying, I don't want to hurt anymore, but you're using someone in order to soothe the pain. And we don't do that. All right. But healing teaches you to give those things to yourself first. So you don't outsource your recovery to the wrong man. Because when you outsource your recovery to the wrong man, it's devastating. It's devastating. It's devastating. All right. I want you to know that the goal isn't to move on fast. The goal is to move on whole. And we don't compete with a man just because he's moved on. You don't have to move at his pace. Don't let people say, you should be over that by now. Don't do that. Don't allow people to say that to you, okay? I want you to know that I love you so much. I want you to know that if you got you a little rebound boo, that you need to schedule a coaching call with me, okay? Because we don't use men to heal. We heal on our own. We present as whole. Our recovery belongs to us. Healing from that heartbreak belongs to us. And yes, it sucks. But you're going to be okay. All right? This Healing is Sexy. I love you so much.